Yeah, welcome everybody to the Geeks Book Club. It is July.
Ooh,
And I had to wait just a second. I had to think about that, Bonnie. That's horrible, isn't it?
didn't wait. I had a birthday in July. Didn't you have a birthday in July? Didn't we both?
The end of June, but happy belated birthday. Your birthday was just last week.
Yeah, the big 50.
Oh.
Oof. Oof.
What did you do to celebrate?
I went, Ann Wheaton and I went to Santa Barbara for like 3 days.
Oh.
It was nice because it was cooler in weather, and I got to see the ocean and eat good food and hike in the woods. It was very nice.
Santa Barbara is really
Yeah.
nice. And
Yeah.
it's not like my favorite place to I would not want to live there because it's very like has a lot of Karen energy to it, you know what I'm saying? But if you look past the Karen energy, it's really a nice place. I went to this great place, I don't know, on the way on my road trip, I stopped at this place, on the main street there, and it sold Turkish delight. Did you see that place?
No, but that sounds like an entrance into Narnia.
I had never seen a whole it was a Turkish candy shop essentially, and it also had
Okay.
tea, and it was the coolest little shop. I think it was named Shook or something like that. I'm gonna look it up now. I gotta look it up.
Yeah, I only know Turkish delight from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. That's my only reference. Isn't it like a toffee or a fudge or something?
No,
Maybe it is.
it's I've never actually had this. If you guys are in Santa Barbara, which is not exactly like mainstream, but if you anybody is ever in Santa Barbara, please try this place. It's called Locum, Turkish Delight in USA. It is really interesting because they had a whole case of all different flavors, and I had only had one kind of Turkish Delight before,
Uh-huh.
and it's kind of like almost a candy jelly, and it does have nuts and other things in it. And they
Oh,
had Turkish coffee and tea sets, and it's really beautiful if you look at it.
is it kinda like mochi?
They're not they're it's kind of like mochi in that they're little tiny delightful little pieces, and they just use scissors to cut off logs of this. It's like a it's not it's like a cross between a gummy and a you know how quince paste you get with like a cheese plate? God, I'm such a douchebag. But you know that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I will also be a douchebag with you. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, thank you so much. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a little bit firmer than that
Okay.
texture, but they are all different flavors. They have chocolate, they had rose water, they had orange blossom, but they also had like peanut butter banana. Like they had some
Wow.
very interesting flavors. And
Oh,
they
yeah,
also have baklava.
our Geek Events chat is blowing up with, them saying orange blossom.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah. Okay, I think I've had it before. I
Yeah.
just didn't know what it was. I think I had it, like, at a Christmas party or something.
But if you look at pictures, they have like an Instagram scrolling thing on the bottom, and you could see that it's a huge shop with all different flavors,
Yeah.
which I had never seen
Why
before. It
didn't
was
I
really
know
nice.
that? Oh, I should have gone. Yeah, I didn't even know it existed. I'm glad that I know it exists now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and, I bought too many of them, and I'm not supposed to eat sugar, and, did not help my weekend sleeping, but, I sometimes it's worth it.
What do you mean you're not allowed to eat sugar? Are you on an elimination diet?
No, sugar really ge it I have such problems right
Oh.
now with my sleep that when I have sugar, I get acid reflux, when I get acid reflux, I can't sleep, it's just like this horrible
Oh,
cycle.
yeah. No, I know. I've been down the acid reflux tunnel before.
Yeah, I know. Well, how's your cough?
It's gone.
Oh, that's so good.
You would be so proud of me. I because it's my 50th, I decided to actually be an adult, and
Mm.
I went to the dentist for the first time in 15 years.
What?
Yeah. I
Bonnie?
I had bad dentist experiences in my past. I had, like, the big metal braces that you get, in the early '80s and or the not early '80s, regular '80s, late '80s. I don't
Mhm.
know. Anyway, I had to wear
Some kinda
headgear.
80s?
Yeah, like, I had to wear a headgear. I had, like, and, most people don't know this, but when you have braces, you had to have them tightened
Oh
every
god.
every month or so, and then you'd have these massive headaches. And then I had one dentist that when I was a kid, I had a cavity, and you do those numbing shots, which are just god awful scary when you look at the shot on the tray
Mhm.
because it looks
Mhm.
like old school Victorian syringe. Like it's not like a shot they give you at the doctors. It's like it looks really hardcore.
Mhm.
And he did not wait for it to numb before he started drilling.
What?
Yeah.
Oh god. Oh, that's a nightmare. That's the worst.
Yeah.
That's why
So
I
this
mean
was fine. So this was
oh,
fine.
oh, oh.
Yeah. So I went to a dentist that primarily deals with crybabies like me who are
Mhm.
scaredy cats, and
Okay.
he was in Sherman Oaks, and it was a very nice experience. And the first visit I got my teeth cleaned, he and to take X-rays and stuff because I went in for a chipped tooth because I chipped a tooth on toffee during Christmas during COVID, and
Uh-huh.
also part of a filling fell out when I was eating popcorn. So I had to get all that fixed, and like I didn't have any pain or anything, but you gotta get that stuff fixed. So because I didn't want like total hillbilly, so
Yeah,
so
yeah.
anyway, when he was cleaning my teeth, he's like, "Oh, your teeth are fine. You don't have any cavities. You barely have any tartar. What kind
Ugh.
of toothbrush do you use?" I'm like, "Just a regular old toothbrush with regular old crest." And he's like, "You must have
Okay.
fluoride in your water as a kid." And I'm like, "I guess so. I grew
I'm
up on a."
really annoyed with you. You're just like my brother. My brother had the same thing that happened. He went to the dentist after like 20 years of never going,
Yeah,
and he didn't have a cavity.
yeah.
And then I go, when I moved to LA, I was like, I'm going to be completely on top of this whole cavity thing. And I had 7 cavities. And then I
Oh
had 2 more after my baby because she drained all the good stuff.
my god. Oh my
Poor
god.
Cleves Mill. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh, poor Cleves Mill in the audience knocked out a front tooth.
yeah.
And
That's actually
I don't know if they got a Cleves Mill, did you get that replaced? Are you getting a bridge or an implant? What's going on there?
a veneer of some sort, maybe.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, my enamel on my front teeth are a little worn, and I thought it was from overusing those Crest whitening strips.
Yeah?
And my dentist laughed, and he said, "Yeah, those don't do anything."
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said the enamel wear was because I was grinding my teeth, but I was like, "But I don't wake
Oh,
up with
yeah.
headaches." He's like, "Oh yeah, many people grind their teeth and don't even realize it." So
So are you gonna get a mouth guard? Because I really love it. It's like Spanx for your teeth. I can't sleep without mine right now.
really? Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
maybe I will. Maybe I will. But it's so funny. So many of our friends are doing Invisalign, so it's like,
I'm doing it. I just gotta
yeah,
get it done.
you and Will and some other people I know are doing it. Like, you guys are getting your adulting done, getting all that.
I mean, it's really expensive, but in order to I mean, I've talked about this extensively in my
Yeah.
podcast with Tom Lenk about how I went to the jaw dentist and they wanna break my bottom jaw and move it and put
What?
pins in it and then widen my top jaw. Bonnie, I have a messed up jaw, okay? It's like an inch b it's a very, very bad overbite. It needs to be like an inch forward. Also, I need to for some reason, my top jaw is really narrow, so basically, they need to widen my top jaw and bring my bottom jaw forward, but it's only aesthetic, and I'm like, "I'm not gonna spend that much money out of
What?
pocket and go through 2 years of debt. I could just do 6 months with a Invisalign and have a slightly better smile." That's what I'm going for.
I mean, you sort of have to be careful with dentists because sometimes they're like, when us women go to the mechanics and they
Yep.
try to oversell. Like, I've been oversold on, I think, not root canal. Luckily, I didn't need one, but one dentist that I had trench mouth,
Mhm.
which I guess
What?
is like excessive gingivitis, where your gut. But I looked it up, and your gums have to be severely puffy. Like, we're talking, like you're in the trenches, World War I kind of tooth decay, not like.
What?
Yeah, and I was like, "I don't think I need that." And it was gonna be a surgery where they'd have to shave down my gums. I'm like, "Yeah, and I'm not
Oh,
doing
no.
that. I'm not doing that." Yeah.
I
I was
I I
like,
mean, if as long as you're, like you're functional. I mean, I
"Yeah,
literally was like, I only went to the jaw dentist to just double check, "Hey, is grinding my jaw and, like, pushing my jaw forward to talk so that I don't lisp, is that gonna be, like, bad on my jaw as I go forward?" And he's like, "Nah."
yeah." Like, I mean, the dentist I went to was super straightforward, and he didn't try to oversell me on anything, and but I mean, it just when I was a kid, though, I had, like, HP Lovecraft level mouth where I had even though I have a big mouth talking, I literally have a very small mouth with I had way too many teeth. I guess I had doubles of teeth that I wasn't supposed to
Mhm.
have. And
Yeah.
so they had to pull, like, a ton of teeth, though not what they, did to actresses in the '30s.
Oh, I know. They did a
They, like,
lot to
took
poor
all their
actresses in the '30s. I can't
yeah,
imagine what they would have done to me.
Joan Crawford took out all of her back molars so she would have a sunken, so she'd have more prominent cheekbones.
What?
Yeah,
How
so
does
that
she
she would
eat?
barely, and she would spit teeth. I think Garbo did that too, but it was like a whole
Jesus.
procedure, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that." Like, some women had, like, one of their ribs removed so they could wear, tighter corsets.
No.
Yeah, so I'm glad
No.
you didn't do that.
Yeah, you know what? I think at a certain point, I would just rather save that for my baby's college and then just have a weird jaw because
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't think I'm
cool
getting more
seeing
jobs just because I moved my jaw forward. Anyway,
yeah,
people have heard way too much about this, so I'm
but
just
I will
going
do a
to.
good transition to our book,
Oh,
is
yes, please do.
if you keep your teeth,
Mhm.
many, folk witchcraft uses human teeth and spells to ward off evil,
Yeah.
so keep your teeth. Don't give it to the tooth fairy, that's a scam. The tooth
I
fairy
mean,
is the Nigerian
my mom
woman.
collected all my teeth, so I have all of them somewhere, but I don't want to know about it. Like, that's creepy
I
to
think
me.
I told you about this last time, or one of the times, one of our tangents, one of our mini tangents, that
Mhm.
there was a dentistry office in a strip mall that was, being renovated to have something else put in, and
Mhm.
they, broke down one of the walls, and it was filled with teeth.
Ah!
Yeah. Pulled teeth, like human teeth,
What?
not plaster caster teeth, like actual
What?
teeth. Yeah. Yeah, and that's a couple
Ooh.
of dentist offices that's happened to, and I'm like and I thought it maybe was a creepy pasta thing, but no, I've looked it up. There's stories, there's news stories, there's, like, legit news stories, it's weird.
You know what, Bonnie? That's why I love you. You always have the factoids. We should get back into the book. Do you want
I
to
mean,
set
it
it
is
up?
about
Oh, wait.
witches.
It is about witches. It is called The Witch's Heart by Genevieve Gornichec.
Yep.
And I will read the blurb here.
Mhm.
Um, let's see if I could get rid of this. When a banished witch falls in love with the legendary trickster Loki, she risks the wrath of the gods in this moving, subversive debut novel that reimagines Norse mythology. Angerboda's story begins with where most witches' tales end, with a burning, a punishment from Odin for refusing to provide him with knowledge of the future. The fire leaves Angerboda injured and powerless, and she flees to the farthest reaches of the remote forest. There, she's found by a man who reveals himself to be Loki, and her initial distrust of him transforms into a deep embodied love. So they have 3 children, each with a sacred destiny. But as she recovers her prophetic powers, she learns that her blissful life and possibly all of existence is in danger. So
Yep.
this was a suggestion, but I believe by Cleesmill. And I never even read I was not reading chat enough to see how your tooth was, so I hope it's good.
Oh,
And
there that person's tooth? That was another person who had a tooth problem?
I had to have well, we have people in chat saying teeth talk is grossing me out.
Oh,
Starcraft, sorry about that. I mean, I
okay.
don't like talking about feet. Teeth are pretty gross if you really think about it, and thank you for
Well, we need
linking that.
them. We need them.
Oof.
But also, teeth and witchcraft, do a Google search, that's a fun thing, that's an interesting thing to look at. If we all
Yeah.
recall Blair Witch, those hex bags have teeth in them.
Oh. Well,
Anyway,
or you get a flipper like Cleesmill, they got a flipper, a fake tooth. Yeah, I mean, why not? Just get a fake tooth. Who cares?
yeah, just
So
get a
this
flipper.
book was recommended, in the Geeks Book Club, uh,
Good job, by the
channel.
way.
Yeah.
That was a good book.
What did you like about it? What were your favorite things about this?
Okay, I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to mythology.
Me too.
I love mythology. I love all kinds of mythology. So I love,
Mhm.
different countries' views of things like Irish mythology, British mythology, and Native American mythology. But Norse mythology, I didn't know a ton about except for the usual suspects like Odin, Thor. I mean, even before Marvel,
Mhm.
so the Marvel movies. So I didn't know a lot about the women in Norse mythology. So this
Mhm,
book
mhm.
was very eye opening. Um, I'm gonna mispronounce her name. Is it? I want to say Angora Boda, but I think it's
Angerboda? I think it's Angerboda, but of
Anger,
course,
like Anger
somebody
Boda.
who is maybe a little bit more Swedish from chat could maybe correct us.
Anger Boda. Maybe you have to just
Angerboda,
yeah,
Angerboda,
yeah, like just do like
Angerboda.
Swedish chef. Yeah. Um, I thought it was interesting because I think she's barely mentioned in
Yeah.
actual Norse mythology. There's not like a ton about her
Mm-mm.
already written. So it was interesting that this author decided like pluck that person out of mythology and give a big backstory. But the interesting thing in the story itself, she doesn't even know her own backstory because she was burnt at the stake 3 times. I mean, come on. Talk about
Yeah.
overkill, by the way. Way to go, Odin.
Mhm.
Um, as we all know, Greek gods and Norse gods, some of the male gods in charge can be jerks. I think Zeus was a good example of a jerk. Odin, he's not like the old friendly old man in the movies. He's kind of a jerk too. I mean, I guess
Yeah,
all
no, he's a bad guy.
I mean, in this book, all the gods are kind of villains, so it's just interesting to me to see her story and get a little bit more into her character. I mean, this is all fictionalized, obviously, but I mean, it's just interesting to see that because
Mhm.
she is Loki's. I don't know if you call her a wife. Yeah, wife or consort. I don't know. Wife. Did they get married back then? They got married back then.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and so they have 3 kids together who are awesome, by the way.
yeah,
And, she has a best friend slash sorta girlfriend, Huntress
yeah,
Skada Scotty,
mhm.
and,
Scotty,
Scotty
yeah.
yeah, Scotty, and so I don't know, the
Mm.
more I got into this book, the more I couldn't put it down. Like, this is one of those books that I tried to read all the way through as much as I could. Like, it was not something where I was like, "Do I take a bath? Do I read this book? Do I brush my teeth? Do I take this?" Oh, that's probably why I need to go to the
Yeah.
dentist. But anyway, this book was great, and I'm really glad it was recommended. A lot of people said this book is a good companion to Circe, which is
I
another book that is
I
a
feel like Circe
reimagining.
is a much better book than that. I mean, I really enjoyed this book, but just the
Yeah.
writing quality is much better in Circe.
Yes, I will agree. I will agree to that. But if
Because
you like
yeah,
this kind of
but if
book,
you
you
like
like
Circe, you definitely will like this because it's
yeah,
a sort of a deepening of like a secondary female character giving her the spotlight. And
yeah.
so having read a lot of Norse mythology with my daughter the last couple years,
Mhm.
I'm obsessed with mythology as you are, and I always thought Scotty was the character if I was gonna go in and retcon someone, that she would be the most interesting character to star in a story.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
yeah, because if you read like what's she does know her Norse mythology very well, like
Mhm.
almost she almost doesn't like take advantage of the story like a lot of the Loki stories are like, "Oh, yeah, this happened in the background." I'm like, "Oh, I kinda wanna see that happen," rather than being
Yeah.
stuck in this hut, but at least she knew it, right? Like, she
Well,
included it.
yeah, like you hear about like Loki comes to her after the fact of these
Yeah.
certain things. Like I think the most famous one is the horse situation.
The horse which is my favorite, Sleipnir and having that, the
Oh,
little baby horse, I mean, I think the strongest part of this book is the character's relationship to her children. That was
yeah,
so incredibly impactful
yep.
and beautifully written, and this mother fierceness, I love that. To me, the weaker part was the fact that the character is kinda stuck in a hut for it is a little bit anticlimactic. You don't get as much going on, it's a lot of internal stuff, and I didn't like Loki in this. I did not root for their um I loved reading it. I love this book, but I do have issues, and I think the romance didn't work for me because I thought I just hated Loki. I don't know. Did you think he was that
No.
romantic? Were you just like, "Yeah, get together?" I was not.
Well, here's the thing. Loki is my favorite of all the Marvel characters. Uh the Marvel male characters, I should say.
Oh, yeah.
And so I already have it's hard not to read a Loki book now and not visualize Tom Hiddleston and not hear him in your ear.
Mhm.
But because I mean this one was blonde, obviously. The author here tried real hard, real hard to make it not look or sound like Tom Hiddleston. But there was a certain banter, like witty banter between them two where I'm like, oh yeah, I can hear Tom Hiddleston in my head saying I was going to eat it, but for some reason I decided maybe you should have it back when he gives her back her heart
Mhm,
at the
mhm.
very beginning because her heart's ripped out. And I was like, that sounds like a Hiddleston. I don't know. I'm just, maybe that's just a tribute to how well Hiddleston gets Loki.
Yeah.
But uh, Loki is, I don't know. Loki's weird. He's like Pan, right? Like
It's hard to love him, yeah.
he's supposed to be a trickster. He's supposed to cause mischief and chaos. Do you really want to date chaos? Like it's
No.
kind of like friends that you have that are always complaining about their relationships, but they always seek out people that are just 100% all caps drama.
Mhm,
And you're
mhm.
like, well, you're picking that person knowing full well this is not going to be an easy relationship, and then you complain about it. It just seems a little
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like she needs
No,
to just get
listen, and the
and
way
be
she
Loki.
described him, I kind of got just a glimpse of Carrot Top once, and it re maybe that was it. Maybe that was it.
Oh, Carrot
It
Top.
just was like, "Ooh, nega boner," not
Yeah.
this is not I do not want to see them having the intercourses. Please
Yeah.
don't. Please.
Yeah.
Also,
I
he
was
was just he was not a good person. He had another
no,
he had another k family on the side, and yeah, he was forced to have them, but, like,
I
he just
mean, you kinda have to be an
ugh.
idiot to think Loki's gonna be monogamous. I mean, come on.
I know, but, you could have a rakish now I'm reading some reviews, and there's a book called Gods of Jade and Shadow by Silvia Moreno Garcia,
Mm,
which people are saying is amazing.
okay.
It's a Mayan god of death sends a young woman on a
Ooh.
harrowing, life-changing journey in this dark, one-of-a-kind fairy tale inspired by Mexican folklore. This is going on my list. It was, named one of
We
the
should
best
add
books of
that
the
to
year by
our list.
NPR. Huh?
Add it to our book list.
Yeah, I wanna read it. So I'm
Yeah.
adding it to our book list. Maybe not
Okay.
it's, was written in 2019, and
Okay.
I'm going to buy it on Kindle right now, and
Okay.
maybe we'll do it not this month, but this next month because you've picked the next one, but
Okay.
for September, I will pick that one.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I mean, I I will also say, uh and you probably have a different perspective on this book than I do because you're an actual mom.
mhm, mhm.
So did you feel some kindred spiritness when it came to the fierceness of momdom?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But it also that was when she got, as a character, proactive. Like, I
Mhm.
think, as a writer, it's so easy to write just a passive character who things happen to, and a lot of the first third of this is her recovering from this traumatic situation where she's lost her memory and she's hiding and
Mhm.
protecting herself, and then Loki just happens to come get her. Loki gives her her heart back. She doesn't go get it.
Right.
Loki comes to her and the pregnancy she gets pregnant, but it doesn't feel like she's super assertive until she has to save her children, and that's when the story really got went into gear, and it really, as a writer, is a reminder, like, you want your characters to do things. Go and have them do bad things. Have them do things that are not the smartest thing, just have them do stuff, and this character was a little too passive for the first third especially, to really be like, "I'm rooting for you," especially when she's making out with Carrot Top.
Are we calling Loki Carrot Top now?
I mean, that's what I had in
Okay.
my head. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
I mean, you know me. I ship people that aren't necessarily meant to be shipped, but I mean, she did have something going on with Scotty for a little while, and I
Mhm.
liked that relationship better. But
Yeah.
at least Scotty was like, she doesn't sugarcoat anything. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? Like
mhm.
tells it like I hate saying tells it like it is because someone's made that famous. I don't want to make that phrase associate with that person. But anyway, I don't know. Like I don't know. I think I wanted more of her friendship. And
Yeah.
more less Loki. Like I hate to say it, but I didn't need that much Loki.
No.
I know you need Loki because you have to explain.
Well, because it's 3
But
children. He screws her over 3 and you're just like, "Hey,
yeah,
he's awful." Like,
yeah,
but that last scene where with his other wife,
mhm,
and when she releases him, that actually made me tear up. It was
yeah,
really well earned, and it made me sympathize with
yeah.
them. So and this is a first novel, which is
I
so
know. Can
incredibly
you believe
impressive.
it? This is her debut novel. She's super young.
Ugh.
She's like from Ohio. Like I think she went to Ohio State. Like she's like
Yeah.
a sweet college kid, which I love even
She's
more. That she's not
well,
some Vassar girl or something, but she's just a sweet.
no.
Went to a regular college and
Mhm,
was really
mhm.
into Norse mythology and decided to write this book. And it just goes to show if you're really into something and you put the work in, you could write a
Yep.
pretty awesome, retelling of something. Like I'm
Yeah,
I'm
you don't have to come up with your own thing, just interpret something you know and
yeah,
love.
just grab a god out of Norse mythology and make something up. Like it's
Yep.
I mean, you do your research, but mythology is, there's no trademark on that. There's no copyright. So they're copyright free characters.
Hey, man, Wizard of Oz is in the public domain.
Yeah.
Go for it.
And by the
I'm
way,
sh
those books are nothing like the movie.
No, no.
Because those were more political. I think they had to do with the populist movement. Anyway, I will say that this book also has very strong themes of fate and destiny versus free will.
Which is very interesting. Yeah, you're right, and is that something that's super part of Norse mythology in
I think any
general?
mythology. I think a lot of mythology, a lot of the characters, especially if they're born from gods or they are gods or they're demigods or married a
Mhm.
god, I don't know. A lot of stuff is predestined. A
Uh-huh.
lot of things are prophecy based, but as we know from Buffy, Vampire Slayer, as you know particularly, there is always a loophole to every prophecy. There is always a back door. If we do this, the end of the world won't happen, kind of thing.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
I feel like when she has a vision of the end of Ragnarok, but in the beginning she doesn't know what it is. She hasn't put two and two together yet. And then once
No.
two and two together and realizes her three children are going to be very much part of that Ragnarok end of God situation. That's when you kind of have to wonder, okay, well, you can't be passive as a mom. You have to kind of do something. And I mean, that was also the reason that Odin burned her in the first place, is that I think she taught him some sort of seeing prophecy magic, but not like the good stuff, just sort of like tarot card stuff
Mhm.
level, but not like end of the world level. And he wanted to know the future of Asgard, and she wouldn't tell him.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So I
So
don't.
that's basically, that's all he wanted was what he gets, and then she's like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
change this."
Yeah. Yeah. So I
Hmm.
feel like, but I mean, with any hero's journey or anything about heroes, there's always that, is this quest predestined? Is prophecy fulfilled because it's supposed to, or is it like accidental self-fulfilling prophecy? Like
Mhm,
maybe you've
mhm.
heard it so many times and it happens. I mean, if you look at the Oedipus and Electra story, that was weird, and that was weird stuff that happened. So
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, but I don't know. Like, do the gods control everything, or can you outsmart the gods? I think that's kind of a lot of mythology in general, especially
Yeah,
with.
and she didn't end up, I mean, I felt so bad. It was
I
like,
know.
"Hey," basically not much change. I mean, she did lose, spoiler alert, 2 of her 2 sons died,
Yeah,
but her daughter she saved, which I thought was pretty I mean, I that was an interesting twist to that because
yeah.
I don't believe in mythology Balder and Hel end up together, do they?
I don't
I think
know.
that's her invention.
Yeah. I
So
don't
and I
I don't
thought that was a really cool, and it also redeemed Loki. It was a really clever, the whole book is basically, the best part of it is that twist she came up with a plot, and I wish she had had a little bit more of that. I now that I talk about it, I feel like sticking her in a cabin for 2/3 of the book was just a mistake, because I wanted to root for her more, and she didn't fight for anything. She was
yeah.
just always hiding and
You know what that
confused.
reminds me of? It reminds me of, I think it was it 3rd season of Penny Dreadful, when,
Mhm.
Eva Green's character she's a witch and she goes back to her roots. Or you do or does she go back to her roots and she
I don't think I saw the 3rd season. I love the first 2. I think I
I think it was
forgot.
the 3rd season. There's 4 seasons total, I believe.
Okay, I missed the last season, basically.
Oh my god, they're so good. It's so sad. I will just say that ahead of time. You are going to be very sad because Penny Dreadfuls are not supposed to they don't have a happy ending. So it's like
I know.
the character, the cast of that show. Oh my god, I love that. Eva Green plays this great character, and she's got a bit of a witchiness to her. So there's a third. God, who's that famous? Not opera singer, but musical actress. Oh,
Sarah
God.
Bernhardt?
No, 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 no. But I mean, she's in the. Come on, chat, save me.
What are you saying?
Well, the point of what I'm saying is that Eva Green's character goes back and not Anna Kendrick. She was like Anna Kendrick. I'm like, that would have been hilarious.
Is that it?
Uh,
Mary Martin, Kiss the
I,
Celloist.
I guess I could just look it up as I'm talking.
But I
But
don't know what you're talking about. Is it
okay,
another
okay, okay, okay.
actress?
Yeah. So it's
Okay.
basically, the story is that Eva Green's character, who is a witch, goes back to find the original witch to figure out how to stop these other witches from basically hexing her to death or whatever. And I would say almost the entirety of the season, she's in a hut.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
That's annoying.
But she's in a hut learning this witchy stuff from that witch. So it's
Yeah.
like she's learning what she needs. She's learning the craft, in order to go back then and save, Sir Malcolm and basically all the characters that the Josh Hartnett character Ethan. Like she needs to like get some powers. So and not like not like 11 powers from Stranger Things, but like like old timey witchy stuff.
Yeah.
But she has to learn from this witch in a hut, and this witch can't leave her hut because if she leaves the hut and Defeeva Green leaves the hut, these other
Uh-huh.
witches who are after her will basically kill her right then and there. Yeah.
Hmm.
I made this sound incredibly boring, which it's not. Patty
No, no.
LaPone. Patty
It sounds like
LaPone
it
is
is
the witch.
boring that she's just in a hut the whole Patty LuPone, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Patty LaPone's the witch. She also plays a psychiatrist in the series.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you're going to be a powerful witch, you got to learn from another powerful witch, and sometimes that involves a hut. I think
Mhm.
also huts are good for hiding, and also she's on the where is she living? She lives on the forest on the edge of the world. Is that where our character has escaped to after she was?
It's the ironwood, so basically it's a wood that she's like this eternal goddess, and I wasn't 100% clear on what was going on with the people who invented wolves. I will admit to that.
Yeah,
I read this on the plane with my daughter was sleeping on me, and I was like, "I gotta read this book." And so I
yeah.
basically just binge read it on a
Oh,
3-hour flight, which,
okay.
it was
That
great.
I
It
mean,
worked.
we don't actually learn how old she is. That's the thing. She's
No.
she's died and come back, died and come back, died and come back. So she keeps being reborn. I think she gets a different name each time. Is that correct? If she has amnesia, well, I shouldn't say amnesia. She just doesn't remember her past.
Yeah.
I guess that's amnesia. I guess that's amnesia. Anyway, we don't know how old she is. Like, so she could be older than old. Like she could be the most ancient witcher that ever did witch. I don't know.
Yep.
What I'm saying. But
Well,
you know
no,
what I mean.
she's super ancient, and she taught the Sade or Sa Side?
Yeah,
Sade, S-E-I-D. She taught the magic to the Vanir, Freya
yeah,
and so which is really interesting lore, like, so she predated the Vanir versus the Aesir. I know I'm mispronouncing all
I
this,
know what
but
you're saying. I got
yeah,
you.
the 2 factions of the gods,
Yeah,
basically, who hated each other, and she was totally ancient.
yeah, yeah,
And yet she sacrificed herself for her daughter. I also was like part of me
yeah.
was like, part of me was like, I didn't buy her daughter getting so mad at her, like,
I
being
know.
so cold at her.
What was that about? I still don't understand that
It
situation.
was just to help it was plot to help the conflict,
Yeah,
but it didn't feel organic to who we knew Hel to be as a little girl. And I know that it's like this is 10, 15 years she's been wandering, like, it's not, like,
yeah,
overnight. But it was sort of like one note, and I felt like Hell was such a layered, interesting character as a little girl that
yeah.
at least there could have been a little more subtlety in the dialogue between them. I mean, I'm really picking it apart in that, I'm being maybe a little overly critical, but
Well, I mean,
I really
sometimes
like this so much.
sometimes little girls grow up to be jerks.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
True,
like
true.
I shouldn't say jerks, like moody teenagers that get mad at mom.
Mhm.
That's how I kind of thought of it a little bit. Uh,
Yeah. I just always you know what? I think I have my personal thing is that I loved the idea of hell.
yeah,
Did you read Tasman, what's her face's Harrow the
yeah,
Ninth and,
yeah, 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 yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
they're so good. That's who I had in my mind, Hel, the Norse goddess of death. I always had her in my mind as that character for some reason.
Remember, I feel like one of the Neil Gaiman Sandman novels, the
Oh,
graphic
yes.
novel, did have death as hell. Uh,
I really? Lucifer is different than Lucifer and
no,
Hell
Lucifer's
or
just
Lucifer and Death are 2 different characters,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Lucifer's just a landlord. He's the landlord that decides to leave and go to LA. Which, by the way, the TV series is not anything like the comic Lucifer or the Lucifer in Sandman, which are the same character. They just made it a
No.
police procedural to get it greenlit. So just so you
Yeah,
know.
well, I have to tell you, I've seen all of the Sandman, and I can't say anything, but it's pretty amazing.
Oh,
It
good.
is
Okay, good. I was afraid you were
amazing.
gonna say you hated it, and I was just gonna cry.
No, 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 I loved it. I loved it. I wish I could say something about it, but yes, it's way too
Ah,
early. It's out next month. It's only out you know what? It's out in, like, 3 weeks.
yeah, it's great casting, great, people behind it. I know a couple of people in the writers' room, so I feel like it's got a good pedigree, but I
Mhm.
do feel like if you read a lot of Sandman comics, he does bring up a lot of mythology. He does Norse
Oh,
mythology,
yeah.
Celtic mythology, British, Irish, Native American. So, Death, who is the sister of Dream, shows up in different realms as different names because Death has many names. But Lucifer's
Mhm.
just a landlord. Lucifer's always Lucifer. I mean, that's just
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
I mean, I can't even tell you how much I love this show. I Tom Lenk and I are gonna watch it because I wanna rewatch it.
Oh,
Um,
good. I'm
because it
actually
was
rereading the comics now.
you know
Um,
what? That's you're rereading the comics? Because I really want to. I have them,
yeah.
I don't know if I have all of
I
them, but I
haven't
really
reread them since college, and when I first read them, when I worked at a comic book store, and that's how I
Mhm.
discovered them in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I have them all, so I just need to read them again. But it's like such a I don't know if you have this experience when you read a book or a comic you haven't read in forever and you remember the first time you read it or maybe the only time you read it was when you were a child or a teenager or in college and you have that sensory memory of
Mhm.
like what the room smelled like where did you read it like your bedroom dorm room apartment it's just
I
it's
remember I think that my crush, because I did read them, not like not when it was first coming out, but I definitely have a crush on sort of goth emo guys
oh
because
yeah
of Dream. Like,
well yeah
there you go.
I have the same thing, and also for Death, I have crushes on goth girls because of Death. So
Mhm.
Death and Dream have basically ruined dating for me.
Really?
So, well, I shouldn't say ruined, but I will say that I dated my share of goths when I was goth. It's always an interesting thing to have happen when your boyfriend has better makeup than you do.
Mhm.
That was eye opening to find out that I was not really. They were using Sephora, I was not. Uh, I was using Wet and Wild, and they're using really expensive, nice makeup. No, I love Neil Gaiman's love of mythology, and I do believe didn't he just come out recently with a book of Norse mythology?
Mhm. He
Yeah,
did, and it was beautiful, and I read it, and I loved it, and I
yeah.
would love to listen to him read it to me again because his voice is so
I
incredible.
know his voice is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, this is the type of book that if you like, I think if you want to learn a little bit more about Norse mythology, or if you just want to fall into that world, I think Witch's Heart is a good read. But I will say, I will totally agree with you. The first part of the book is a bit of a slow burn.
Mhm.
There's not, it's not like action packed from the first page. Well, I guess there is
Yeah.
some action, but then it gets boring. I shouldn't say boring. It gets slow, and
Yeah.
then it heats up at the end. So
Yeah.
and also I do like even though Loki is the worst husband ever, I did like some of the banter they had back and forth.
Yes, it was. When I wasn't picturing Carrot Top, it was
I
there
can't
was
believe you're picturing Carrot Top.
it was something about the way she described his hair and his grin, and it wasn't her fault, like, she wasn't describing Carrot Top,
No.
I just somehow had a flash of it, and it just this is my own personal demon, okay? Although, I mean, really, Carrot Top is my own personal demon if I had a demon.
Dude, what
Here's
a
another
demon.
here's a question I have for you,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Um, if you
Yeah.
were gonna give birth to a monster, what kind of monster would you wanna give birth to? Okay?
Okay, so full disclosure, I've never given birth to anything.
Mhm.
So I don't know what that feels like. I imagine it hurts a lot. You did you do natural childbirth? Or no?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Um,
I had a
yeah,
C-section, and I'm happy about it. I had
okay,
to because I had a Previa, placenta Previa,
okay.
but
Okay.
I am definitely happy I never went through labor, and I never will, and
I
I'm
just
okay with
want to
that. Some people
I
are
don't
like,
wanna
"It's the best thing I've ever done." Not me.
okay. I don't wanna push anything out that has fangs or claws, but I
Yeah.
think if they're that little, it probably isn't that bad. So I would say That's a hard one though. I did like hell, but man, giving birth to a wolf, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I am a dog person. And that little puppy,
Uh,
little young Fenrir. How do you pronounce his name? Fenrir?
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 Femur.
What makes the sound like that sounds like a dog would make that sound.
Femur.
I think I would, yeah, I would go pro
So you
wolf.
wanna you wanna give birth to a wolf, yeah.
I just think it's cute. I don't know. I think it's just because 'cause I'm a dog person, but also, yeah. What about you?
I mean, I'd love to have given birth to a unicorn, but that's probably the worst. You
Oh, we're
don't
saying
want that
anything?
coming out of there.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
saying
no.
anything. No, I'm still going
So,
wolf.
um, I mean, yeah, minotaur would be it's just anything with horns coming out, it would be unless the horns come in later. I mean,
Yeah, maybe it's like,
honestly,
I bet you it's like a dropping of the testicles. Maybe that's what unicorns, their horn comes out
I'm
later.
really the easiest one would be the snake because it just slithers out.
Yeah, don't do snakes do live births or they do eggs? They do live births, right?
I think that some do live births, some do eggs, but I don't know anything about snakes. I'm just
I
making it
mean, you
up.
don't
I
wanna lay an
think
egg.
I've seen some traumatic YouTube videos of a snake giving birth, but I think it's mostly eggs.
Okay.
But a few snakes do give live birth. I know that there's a couple of sharks that give live births, but most of them have like a mermaid pouch, so they're
Yeah.
eggs that are kind of but a couple of them give birth. Let me look this up. I want everyone to know what kind of snakes give live birth because this is
I
important.
feel like there is a snake. I can't remember what kind, but I do believe I remember that
Snake
correctly.
give live birth. Okay. Viviparity. Snakes, viviparity. 11 snakes that give live birth this is a lot.
Oh, wow.
11.
Okay.
They are oviparous. Most snakes are oviparous, which means they reproduce by laying eggs. They have to
Okay.
be incubated, but viviparous gives birth to live young. There are no eggs involved at any stage.
What are
This
some of the
all right,
names?
let's do it. Okay. Sea
Okay.
snakes. Sea snakes.
Sea wait,
Sea snakes.
like SEA?
SEA, like they're sea snakes.
Like eels.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, no, it's a snake. These snakes belong to the Elapidae family of snakes, along with snakes like cobras, mambas, and adders. Although elapids generally lay eggs. Rinkhals. These snakes they're ring-necked spitting cobras. They are related to
Oh,
egg-laying cobras, but they are ovoviparous. I don't know what that means. Are they like incubate the ovoviviparous?
okay.
All right.
Alright.
Vipers and pit vipers
Oh, of course.
are live bearers. God, that's a nightmare. Okay.
Go on. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Water snakes. A lot of water
Yeah,
snakes. So basically, water snakes don't tend to lay eggs. All
yeah,
right.
things like cottonmouths and,
Mhm.
water moccasins probably don't.
Snake shells are thin, so it's easy for the babies to drown. Garter snakes.
Oh, that's probably why I know that, because I probably saw a gardener snake give birth. I bet you
Yeah,
that's why.
probably, right? Boa
Yeah.
constrictors. That's surprising. They
Oh,
live inside their
okay.
mamas for 4 to 5 months before they give birth to a litter of 11 to 60. Jeez, Louise.
Ugh. Could you
Wow.
imagine 60 boa constrictors in your house?
No, not at all. Cobras, kraits, coral snakes, and their relatives. But
Okay.
wait. Elapids usually lay eggs. Sorry. However, others like acanthopus, also known as death adders,
Oh
give
god.
live birth like sea snakes.
Oh, okay.
White-lipped snakes. Wow, anacondas,
Oh,
Amazon
of
tree
course you know.
boas, and rattlesnakes.
Wait, didn't one of those anaconda movies have a live snake birth and then the babies went after people? I feel like that was a
Is that
thing in
true?
I feel like in one of the movies that happened. Because there's
Oh,
like 5 anaconda movies.
I didn't watch all of them, but did
They're
you?
not great.
I
I'm
can't
sure
imagine they're that great. I mean, no insult,
not
but
great.
it
They're
doesn't
like Lake Placid 4 or 5, not that great either. I've been watching a lot of creature features that are left on Netflix that I haven't watched yet, or not Netflix, Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime has a lot of really crappy horror movies that are fun to watch because they are not great.
yeah.
So,
Well,
and I will tell you,
uh
All the Predator movies are on Hulu right now because they're getting ready for Prey to drop. I think this week.
oh,
Which looks
alright.
good. Dan Trachtenberg, who did Cloverfield Lane, he's directing it, and it's a prequel, so it's the first Predator on, I think, on Earth, and it's against Native Americans, but it's a female Native American.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Is this a
and
Predator sequel or a prequel? What's going on?
it's called Prey. It's gonna be on Hulu. I'm very excited about it because the actress that plays the Native American is actually Native American. She was in the Legion series. Uh,
Oh, Amber Midthunder.
yeah,
Wait, is it a series or a movie?
movie.
It's a film.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
It's a redesigned Predator. This looks good.
I know. I'm
It's
excited.
gonna premiere at San Diego Comic-Con this weekend. Are you going, Bonnie? You're not going, are
No.
you?
Well, you're going because you got some choice gigs, but I'm not
I
going.
I I have some pretty choice gigs. I finally announced that I'm gonna be doing an interview of the cast of Power of the Ring. I mean, this is going to be
Oh,
incredible because it looks awesome,
you're gonna be the
and
go-to. That's gonna be the go-to thing everyone's gonna be excited about to go see.
I mean, for sure. I don't think anything else stands out in my mind, and I get to do a panel for my Walking Dead, game,
Oh,
which
well,
I'm working with
cool.
Yvette Nicole Brown, and she is delightful, y'all.
Yeah, she's
It's so
hilarious.
fun.
Yeah, it's
So
I am not going to Comic-Con this year. I think I'm still a little squeamish about crowds
yeah.
of people who don't have to wear a mask.
Mhm.
Um and I still have yet to get COVID. I do not want to get COVID.
Don't do it, it's awful. It's really awful.
No, you've had it. So it's like I'm more worried about long COVID than COVID. So but you get long COVID. Some people are getting long COVID, not everyone.
Well,
After
also, it says every time you get COVID, it increases your chances of getting long COVID, which is very
yeah,
scary because I've had it once and already my whole family really got me, my kid, my partner, like, we all actually were very badly affected, and I'm like, it
oh no.
supposedly gets worse.
It does. It does. And
Mm.
this variant is probably the most aggressive variant as far as contagious.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I just don't I'm just, even when I was in Santa Barbara, we were eating outside and staying away from people. So I
Mhm.
just the amount of people that are probably going to be at Comic-Con this year because everyone missed it so much during COVID.
Mhm.
I feel like it's going to be too many people. But you have like VIP status, so you're going to be like behind in the when they do that like
I mean, yeah, well, I'm just
behind
meeting people and we'll be escorted, but, I really my favorite thing is walking the floor, and I'm just not
I
gonna do it because
know.
I'm going on vacation on Sunday, and I've literally waited years. I've saved up so many credit card points to take my family overseas, and
Wait,
I
where are
get
you
to
going?
go
Did you say?
I'm going to Portugal, and then I'm going to Dublin because I'll be a guest at, Dublin Comic Con, so I'm
Oh,
super
fun.
excited.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah,
Yep,
you're gonna
I'm
have
very
fun, but
excited.
you have the VIP treatment, so they don't push you in the crowd of people.
Yeah,
Whereas I am in
no.
the crowd, and I don't do well with crowds anyway. I mean, even before COVID, I wasn't a big fan of being taken away by the crowds.
Mhm.
You get to be shoulder to shoulder with people sniffing and coughing and germing it up, and then there's the bunch.
No, it's too risky, but, I mean, I do appreciate them insisting on vaccines and all that
Oh
stuff. They're
yeah,
doing some good safe measures, which I'm quite frankly, I'm worried to go to the other like Emerald City and a couple of others. I'm just like, "Well, are we just going to just all get COVID together? Like, is this what I'm" yeah, I'm worried a little bit.
I just that I always get con crud, which is just the general cold you get after being around that many
Me too.
people.
Yeah, me
I
too.
just know I would get COVID. So I just don't want to tempt fate. Talking about fate versus free will,
Yeah,
I'm using my free will to not go to
exactly.
but I bet you will have a blast and you're going to be the queen of Comic-Con.
No, I mean, the Rings of Power is one of the things I've been really excited about this year. Like, between that and Sandman coming out Sandman's coming out, early August, and then
Yeah,
Rings of Power comes out early September, so it's going to be a wonderful fall if you
it
are a
will.
nerdy
It
person.
will. Sandman's going to be great. There's a bunch of great horror films that are going to come out this year too. So like I'm just excited to I'm not a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I feel like I'm going to have to rewatch those movies and The Hobbit.
Well, the thing is, this is set 2,000 years in the past. So this is you can watch this and not know anything, you know what I'm saying? Like, I
I
think
know,
that
but there's characters that show up in Lord of the Rings that are in
well,
this.
Galadriel and there are a couple of people
But
who,
those elves are old.
yes.
Yeah.
They're old as hell, but they're immortals, so they're still hot
It's
in
kind of like
2,000
when you
years
watch
later.
Fantastic Beasts. There's a few characters that are, obviously in the Harry Potter lore. And
Okay, I have a question for you,
yeah,
Bonnie.
yeah.
Let's take any TV series. Okay, so everyone the fashion now is to take a secondary character from mythology and make them the star of a story and tell the story that nobody ever knew about them. Tell
Right.
me what TV character would you like from a comedy, would you do a gritty reboot about their secret past?
Comedy. Ah,
Yeah, or like a
is
comedy
this
about a
because of what
secondary character
happened?
in a drama. Like, do
Is
the
this
opposite tone of whatever the source
okay.
material was, okay?
I always wanted to see a scary, vicious alien version of Alf.
But wait, secondary character. So would it be the kid
Oh
from
yeah,
Alf?
he's the
Like,
main
what
character.
happened to them when they grew up?
No, maybe not. I don't secondary character.
I
This
have
is
one Newman from Seinfeld. I would put him in he was earlier in his life, he was a noir detective, and
oh,
that's
okay. That's interesting because I always just pretend that Newman's previous life was him in Jurassic Park as the
it's
hacker
great.
because he's the horrible hacker in that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Somehow he survives and then goes on to lead a double life in New York as
As
what's
a male person, yeah.
yeah, as a male person. God, that's a really good question because I'm trying to think of recent secondary characters.
Like Gunther from Friends. I always wanted to do, like, what was happening at that coffee shop when the hot people weren't
Okay,
there? Do
okay,
you know what I'm
that's a good
saying?
one. That's a good one. So I'm gonna pick that. So I'm gonna cheat. So I'm gonna say Gunther,
Yeah.
but as a serial killer.
Oh, that's so good!
But I want him to
Like
still be a serial
oh,
killer during
yes!
Friends. Because
That's
he
a
had
really
that
good
look,
one. He could totally have been a serial
right?
killer.
Because he had that
Yes.
deadpan humor, and he was kind of creepy, and
Very
like
Dextery.
if
Dexter.
he
Like
yeah,
Dexter with Gunther. It'd be
yeah,
Gunther.
if they played the right background music and had jump scares, that would have been believable. That would have been believable.
Yeah.
I feel like it would have been great too, as if you went down to his basement in his apartment and there's a wall, a predator, like a wall of I'm gonna kill this next person. It's just pictures of Ross everywhere. It's just
Oh,
the Gunther wall of I'm gonna kill Ross
wow.
because he was after his girlfriend. I mean, he's flirting with the girlfriend. So I don't know. I just okay. Gunther's a serial killer. What would yours be?
I mean, mine would be oh god, it's really hard. I also maybe, Daphne in
Okay,
Scooby-Doo
yeah,
as, like, an alias as Alias, you know what I'm
that's a good mix.
saying?
I like that.
Yeah?
By the way, I still can't get
What
over the
about
fact
Wilma Flintstone was like,
an
what would
assassin,
Wilma be? Yeah.
secret assassin. Like
Yeah,
like like Watson's wife or, yeah, like in
that's
Sherlock, they do
pretty
Wat
good.
yeah, so secretly I like the idea of Wilma as a secret like a retired
Yeah,
secret
she just
assassin.
wanted a normal life. Just a total normal life.
He ends up with the biggest buffoon ever, but, I
Oh, I
mean,
hate it.
Fred was such an idiot. Ugh,
I
I was
hated him. He was not worthy of her, was
oh,
he?
not even close. I was just like, "Just run away with was it what was the was not Velma, what was the other one? The
Oh,
other one,
yeah, yeah, but she was irritating too. What was it? Barney and
Velma
what's her face? Ugh.
and
She was
Betty,
really
Betty.
Betty. Ugh, Betty,
But she wasn't a Betty, and she was also kind of written as a nag, which I thought was
for
annoying.
sure. I hate
So,
that. I mean, it's the same thing. The worst is the Jetsons. The Jetsons' wife.
oh, I mean,
Ugh.
though she did I mean, I will say the Jetsons did, invent Zoom, and they did
They
also
did.
and I'm still waiting for that thing where it's the makeup mask where you just put on your face as though it's totally made up, but it's like you just put it on, then you can take it off and look miserable, but it's only
Mhm.
for, like, Zoom calls. I'm still waiting for that. I'm also waiting for the Simpsons shotgun makeup, where you just shoot the shotgun at a face and then the makeup's on there.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing. I would love that. Totally
That's
Polly,
the
but a
only
dark reboot is a good one, or a gritty crime drama with the dad from Frasier. Good one, because
Oh.
he would be amazing at that.
You know
That would be
what?
a
That
yeah.
actor who's the dad on Frasier many a time played a cop in gritty cop movies. So that actor is
Oh.
actually yeah, he had a very long career as a character actor.
Mhm.
Um, There's some really good, oh my god, there's so many great examples in our geek chat. Mr. Belvedere, Jack Tripper, Ted
Yep.
Lasso's Sword
Dharma
Path,
was an alien who was sent to study Greg.
Urkel. Oh, I will tell you, when Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, remember that's supposed to be gritty now? They're rebooting it as a gritty
Yeah,
drama.
I hear it's supposed to be really good. It's just
But
not my cup of tea, but
here's the
I never
thing,
watched the original.
when the trailer came out, I can't remember if it was just a fan that made this on YouTube or if it was a Saturday Night Live skit, but they did a gritty reboot of Urkel
Oh, wow,
as
that's
its own.
amazing.
So I will say, like, any of those 90s shows like Growing Pains or Family Ties
Yeah.
or even like Laverne and Shirley. I'm trying to feel
Yeah.
like one of the
Yeah.
Greasers in Laverne and Shirley
2
with
guys, a
the
girl, in a pizza
yeah, My
place.
Two Dads, My Two
I mean,
Dads.
Big Bang, there could have been, like,
Right?
Kevin Sussman, like, the comic book store owner. He could be, like, a secret, like,
Yeah.
something. He
I
could be,
feel like
like, a retired like, a hacker who got $1 billion, and this is, like, his he hacked $1 billion from, some kinda
yeah.
country, and then now this is his dream. He's just living his dream.
Or maybe Tootie, like, Tootie from Facts of Life. She's a assassin, like Killing Eve kind of thing.
Oh, that would be a good sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's oh, someone just Shad just wrote in the comments, Kirk Cameron's character starting a cult. Oops, that's too close to reality. Oof. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of his like Jesus films? They're interesting. They're
No.
not on Netflix. They're not
Not
on Netflix.
on Netflix.
Yeah, but I will say that's an interesting question. I'm glad you asked that because I never really think about. But it's funny though because everything gets recycled in Hollywood. So a lot of times, like the Powerpuff Girls was supposed to have a gritty live action,
Mhm.
um, and that's got canceled. But then I think it's going to happen still. I don't know. It didn't do well with test audiences. That's all I know. But a lot of those like shows, like I would say Riverdale. You know, when you think of the
Oh,
Archies,
yeah, Riverdale, yes, yes, it was a dark, gritty reboot of it, yeah.
you think of Archie's as sugar sugar cartoon, and then you watch Riverdale, it's like Twin Peaks for teens.
Mhm.
It's like weird and
Yeah.
creepy and scary and sad, and it's not anything really like the comics.
No.
Sabrina, and the same with the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. That's not like the comic or the original '90s Sabrina Teenage Witch at all. I mean,
Yeah.
there's
Not at
orgies
all.
in the new one. There's like a
Ooh,
lot of
really?
teen sex. Oh, there's so much teen sex.
Ew,
There-
that makes me uncomfortable.
Well, I don't know. Did they get a pass because it's witchcraft related? I don't know.
I don't know. Teen sex la 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 la.
I mean, I also had a problem with Buffy because Angel was so much older than her.
Yeah.
That was a little
I
weird.
mean, it was yeah, but
I
if
mean,
you
not like regular older, like not a couple decades. We're talking centuries. Like I
no,
don't
he's
mind.
century but
Yeah,
that's
but
every
they're a
vampire
couple decades.
love
Like I don't
thing,
care about
yeah,
that.
because
Like
there's this
human,
big age gap between them.
yeah, human decades. I don't care about. But like when it comes into centuries, that's when I'm like,
Bonnie,
why would you hang out in high school?
I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
Anyway,
Well, Bonnie, we come to the end of our book club, and
yes.
I'm going to say adieu for the
Oh, do we want to see
recording.
the next book? Do we want to
Oh, yeah,
announce?
let's announce the next book, and then I'll stop the recording, and then I'll start it again because I need to or maybe I should just split it in half. What do you think, you guys?
I don't know.
Because 'cause I'm
Is-
about to go do tarot reading for an hour. You're welcome to stick around and help me
Mm,
interpret tarot cards, Bonnie, or you can jet out. Either one,
I'll
I
stick
don't care.
around. I'll stick around.
Oh, good. Hey, you'll be my co-host this today.
Yeah, because I do tarot readings. So
Well, then you can help me. I could do your cards, and then you can help me
yeah,
read everybody's cards. We'll just do a 2-hour one, whatever. I'll
right.
upload it to the
All right.
podcast. So if you don't
Uh,
wanna keep listening, okay, so we're gonna announce the book. What is it,
yeah,
Bonnie?
it is, and this book came out I think a couple years ago. So I think you should be able to get in libraries and Libro, which is the online access to stuff. That's free. It's Finley Donovan is Killing It by El Casimano. It's very
Mhm.
funny. So the tagline is most moms are ready to kill someone by 8:30 a.m. on any given morning. Oh God, the type is really small. Except she's not. Finley Donovan is not. She's a stressed out single mom of two and a struggling novelist. She finds her life in chaos when she is overheard discussing the plot of her new suspense novel with her agent over lunch. she's mistaken for a contract killer and
Mm,
inadvertently accepts an offer to dispose of a problem husband. She soon discovers that crime in real life is a lot more difficult than the fictional counterpart, and she becomes tangled in a murder investigation. And I don't think that gives it the true essence of this book. I laughed out loud reading this book so often that I was like, I'm so glad I don't live with anyone because they would think I was
huh.
crazy.
Oh,
I'm glad.
I can't wait to read it.
Yeah, it's really funny, and there's also a sequel that just came out. So the book, it's going to be a book series that keeps going on and on and on. But it's just, I feel like if you like Agatha Raisin series, or if you like any kind of, I want to call it a light murder mystery, or they call it cozy murder mystery now. I think that's what the book
Mhm.
is calling it, where it's not like super stressful read. It's not like a dark, twisted serial killer book. It's like it's just funny. It's like what
Oh,
would
it sounds
happen?
awesome.
Yeah, if someone mistook you for a serial killer or for a contract killer, what would happen to your life? And it's hilarious because also I
Okay.
kind of bond with her because she's a writer, and
Yeah.
so yeah.
I
So
love
it's just
it. All right, so that will be our book for August, and it will be posted in the Geeks Book Club channel on the Discord, and I hope to see all of you, or hope you all listen next month. All right, thanks, and bye.